What? Kenneth Branagh's version was way better than Laurence Olivier's. Did you even watch it? Hi. Thespis of Acaria, born 6th century BC, is the first ever recorded actor to have been in a written play on a stage. In other sources, he is said to have introduced the first actor along with the chorus in a performance. Thespis supposedly introduced a method in which one actor or singer would perform the words of one character. This new method was called tragedy. All said, however, there's very little concrete information about what actually occurred during those times. All of this may be more legend than reality. In theatrical myth, Thespis is said to exist now as a mischievous spirit, and when things go wrong in performances, it is often blamed on his ghostly intervention. He may have had a substantial role in changing the way stories were told and inventing theater as we know it today. In reverence to Thespis, actors throughout Western history are referred to as Thespians.
In the mid-6th century BC, Aeschylus broke into the Greek theater scene. An acclaimed author of over 70 plays, Aeschylus is credited as being the father of Greek tragedy, adding a second speaker, actor, to what had before been a narrative art form.
Of the 70 plays that he is slated to have written, only 7 survive to modern times. Among these are Seven Among Thieves, Prometheus Bound, and the Oresteia trilogy.
The earliest play that remains to this day is one of his earliest works, The Persians. It is unique to its time period in that it deals with the victories and problems of humans, as opposed to the triumphs of the gods.
The addition of a second actor was a tremendous contribution to the world of Greek theater, but it may not have been Aeschylus' only contribution. It is believed that Aeschylus also innovated the use of skenographia, or set decorations, although according to Aristotle, this was the work of Sophocles.
Did someone say Sophocles? Sophocles was born in 479 BC. He's famous not only for his plays, but for his infamous love of wine and women.
He's also famous for adding a third speaker.
And for giving dialogue full development.
Indeed, Sophocles is perhaps best known for his poetic style, his grand and majestic language.
His flagrant narcissism?
Perhaps more than any before him, Sophocles recognized the beauty of art for the sake of art, of beauty for the sake of beauty.
Vanity for the sake of...
Okay, let's just move on to that part about the masks.
Masks were most likely made from linen and wood, and were sometimes furnished with animal or human hair.
As you can see, the masks used at this time were full-face masks and had tiny holes in the pupil of the eye for the actor to see through.
The best masks were able to portray a variety of emotions when coupled with appropriate voice and movement.
And actors used different voices or accents for every character or mask they used.
Actors used the mask to help them find and develop their character, similarly to how masks are used now.
Even playwrights, such as Menander, are said to have looked at masks for inspiration in their writing.
You know, women in ancient Greece really had it rough. Men did all the work, the fighting, and had all the freedom. Women were treated like slaves. They weren't even allowed to go to the theater, let alone act.
It's hard to imagine your only goal in life being to get married and have kids, not being allowed to do anything.
Men didn't even use their wives for sex. For that, they counted on special women, courtesans and prostitutes.
It's interesting that women were used so often in plays. On stage, they were goddesses. They could do what they wanted and actually had a voice.
And yet, most women end up killing themselves in plays. The most dishonorable way to die. Only then did these bad women fulfill their role in marriage.
Being a woman in ancient Greece was sure terrible.
It's like Euripides says in his play, Medea. The most unhappy creature is a woman, who first must buy a husband with her wealth, and so acquire a master for her body.
Wow. said that?
Euripides.
Euripides?
Psychotic. Figure streets. Okay, so Cameron, tell me about this Euripides.
He was born in 480 BC, and he was the third of three great tragedians, the first two being Sophocles and Aeschylus.
Now, tell me why you're drawn to him. Why the fascination?
Well, I guess it would have to be all the plays. I mean, he wrote 16 surviving tragedies, including Medea, Hercules, the Trojan Women, and Bacchae. And one surviving satyr play, the Cyclops.
And why do you think that is?
Well, Euripides was often said to be ahead of his time. He really focused on character development and writing characters that exhibited real human emotions and reactions.
Cameron, as an exercise, when you're speaking to me, I want you to dress the tree in your snotty Kleenex.
Well, he was the first playwright to really use psychology in the analysis of his characters. I think that's really interesting.
Very interesting. Well, these past few sessions have been very illuminating. We now know a lot about the origin of Greek theater and its evolution, but Cameron, what was Greek theater like in real life?
Let's find out. Over to you, Cam.